And I saw
Yeah.
over and over and over people just doing things that just made their loved ones suffer more, and they ended up suffering more. And nobody talked about that stuff when they were clearly dying and they were doing all these things that just really weren't congruent with what that person needed at end of life. Rather, you're just changing your goals and you're really making the treatment plan specific to the needs of that person. And not just the person, but also the family. And the main takeaway I think we need to take away from this is that we have agency over our own death and the death of our loved ones. It's so many things, but we do have agency over how we're going to die. Hospice is medical care and it's professional medical care. So, but to be very simplistic, it's terminal care, end of life care for the last 6 months of your life. And I just thought this is so barbaric because she was trying to die for so long and she died the next day.
People think that, oh, you're going to go into hospice. Hospice is not that.
No, what you're doing is you're refocusing and redirecting your goals for your care. So what a lot of times what we say in hospice and palliative care is we say all hospice care is palliative because we focus on comfort, right? But it's for terminal, but not all palliative care is hospice, right? Because palliative care is not necessarily end of life care, but it is its own specialty. So just like all espresso is coffee, but not all coffee is espresso.
Right. Yeah.
And
I love
just
that
because I
line,
was a coffee addict for so long.
Yeah, I imagine that you were. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Coffee and donuts, but that has definitely, thank you. That's my little, yes. Is that clear? Or if I need to clarify anything, please just let me know.
No, I got it.
I mean, my point of reference now, based on my experience, my point of reference is always death. Like, it is the thing that happens to us and usually the thing that we think is the worst thing that happens to us. But I also I've come to see it as another stage in our being. So that's another conversation for another day, maybe. but that's how I personally see it. And yes, I used the humor a lot, just because the work itself was always so, you're dealing with the most human aspects of ourselves. And you're also dealing with bodies that are changing and they're changing or not working the way they're supposed to. They look different. Sometimes, parts of the bodies have to be removed. That never should take away from the person that's housing that body, right? Even with age, whatever it is. So what I loved about it most, what I love about death most is because there is so much, it brings out our humanness. But it's so funny how it is a taboo subject. I was doing a live stream a couple weeks ago, and the person who was introducing me said, yeah, so, about someone, maybe your loved one who has maybe died, or I should say pass away. And, even that, to say pass away, we do it because we need to kind of soften the blow, right?
Right.
Because we don't like it, but there's a reason why we don't like it and we avoid it, because our brain just is naturally designed for our survival. If you're afraid of death, good, you're healthy. But what I hope to do with this book and with my content is to assuage that fear a little bit, because the more we know, the more we expose ourselves, the more that we have the conversations, even though, yes, we're uncomfortable with it, it can start to feel a little less overwhelming. The other reason I wrote this book, other than just wanting to get something together for people to hopefully help them and make it in kind of a 31-day format, is because after towards the end of my 20 years, my 2 decades, I got really, really sick. And I ended up having to take a year off work. And it was because I worked like an animal. I just saw no other way. And I mean, even my boss said I work the jobs of 3 people plus some. And so I ended up getting very, very sick and having severe burnout, hospitalized and everything, and on 12 medications, early menopause, which,
Congratulations.
definitely part of, added another hormone. But anyway, all of that, I wanted something more to come out of my sickness other than just what ended up happening. So I wanted something more, and I wanted something that could be used for people and used on this planet. This is why too, my previous boss used to say nobody should die without hospice, because hospice is medical care for those who are dying. So you're not going to go down the road of the step that you always did, like going to the emergency room, like continuing chemotherapy that now has stopped working, like continuing blood transfusions that have stopped working and have caused other issues, et cetera, et cetera. redirecting your care. You're not giving up, you're redirecting your care, and you're actually providing the care that is really needed for this stage. Yes, and you happen to die, but your body is dying anyway. So you need the
Right.
right specialized medical care for that part.
To make it as comfortable and as natural as possible is what I would think of it as, and rather than, like you said, getting some treatment that is not going to make a difference anymore.
Palliative care should be thought of as just another specialty. You know how I go to my gynecologist to get all my HRT. I go to my endocrinologist also to get my thyroid stuff. I go to a cardiologist. I go to whatever. We go to an oncologist. So those ologists, same thing for palliative care. But their specialty, the specialty of a palliative provider, is comfort and really managing symptoms. So it could be managing symptoms from whatever condition or disease someone has, but it's managing symptoms. And the great thing about palliative care, especially in the States right now, is it's really advanced. And it does also do kind of a holistic looking at all the aspects of the person, what they want.
But I love that you have taken all of that experience and all of your stories and everything and put them into this book, because I found the book to be very helpful.
Good.
I'm not a caregiver, but I know people who are, and I know people that are going through this, and I think it's very well written, and I love that it's like a handbook, right? That gives people actionable steps to take based on real scenarios and real stories. And you're, and it is what it is, but so many people that, will just go to the ER or go have that hospital experience when that's not the best option for them at that point in their life.
It's so many things, but we do have agency over how we're going to die. And the main takeaway I think we need to take away from this is that we have agency over our own death and the death of our loved ones. We have some agency. It's something that is overwhelming. It's something that is really scary.
Everything about this is complicated, and it is stressful and challenging. And the thing that I loved about your book is that, you know, knowledge and planning can go a long way. And the other thing, even though your book was written for caregivers, I said, I think that it's a good guidebook for individuals who will eventually be the person who is being cared for as part of your life plan.